Here is a list of emergency gadgets that you should absolutely have. These gadgets are very practical and can be used even when there is no emergency per se. I don't want to waste money on stuff that will just sit in my garage waiting for that doomsday. The world is insane right now. We have global wars, we have clueless TikTok morons, and we are witnessing a huge increase in cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. Did you see the movie Leave the World Behind? Yeah, let's talk about timing. What we want to have during an emergency is light. During the day, without power is bad enough, but you really feel it when it's nighttime. It gets really scary really quickly when the entire city is pitch black. For lights, I would suggest having a couple of torches for sure. Now, personally, I like these. These are normal light bulbs that work as normal in a normal light socket when there is power. But when there isn't any power, it automatically becomes a portable light source. The cool thing about this, since it's been inside a light socket the entire time, it is always fully charged, and that is critical. Now, when you need it, you unscrew it, and then you have a portable light. It also comes with this little clip, so you can screw this on top of your light so it switches on permanently, and you got a little hook on it so you can carry it around and hang it wherever you need it. So again, multi-purpose, normal lights during regular time, which we all need light anyway, and then they are fully powered light source when there is no power. We all know that we can go for weeks without food, but you can only go for 3 days without water. If there is an issue with the power supply, like in case there is no power to circulate the water, or if there is a cyber attack on the water infrastructure, we're all pretty much stuffed. So I've got this guy. It looks like a regular water bottle, but it's actually a water filtration system. Let me show you. Okay, so we take our clean glass of water. Let's go get some dirt in there. And there we go. Yuck, that looks friggin' disgusting. Okay, so yeah, you can all agree I wouldn't drink that. I'm sure you're not going to either. All right, so here's my little contraption. So it's set up. So you take this little bit, the intake, and you put it into the glass of water. And now let's just give it a nice little stir to really kind of get this cup going. Okay, now on the other side of my water filtration system, I've got this little beaker, and I'm going to put the outlet pipe in there, and then we're going to have the dirty water go through the filtration system when we switch it on. All right, so as we watch the water come through, you can already see vast improvement. The water is much, much cleaner. And that, in a nutshell, is the entire water filtration system, going from dirty to clean, but the big test. Now, it's not perfect because there's a bit of color discoloration in the water, but perfectly drinkable. I would probably run this a couple of times through that filter if I was really particular to get even the color out. But as it is, totally doable. Now, I've chosen to go for the electric one that charges from a USB cable, but then you can get the same system in a manual pump. I chose the electric version as, once again, I want to go practical. I take this guy on me when we're out for a hike and don't have to worry about finding that special water refilling station, as I can just drop this into the stream and get that clean drinking water and make that lovely cup of coffee. There's a bit of a coffee theme going on. All right, next up, we need a way to cook food. If you're working with a gas stove and gas is still working, you should be fine. But if you have an electric hob, then you're kind of screwed. If you have a barbecue or a braai, as we like to call it in South Africa, then you can use that to cook and boil water. Just make sure that you're stocked up on your propane. The downside of a barbecue is that it is obviously outside. So in heavy rain or heavy snow, when it's freezing cold, popping outside every time you want to boil water to make some coffee really isn't super practical. So I highly recommend these camping stoves. This one is from Gas One. I just happened to buy this particular one. It comes in this little cool carrying case, and that's the entire contraption. Now it runs on this butane gas canister, and once it's in and locked in place, that's it. No electricity, nothing needs to be plugged in. You're good to go. And you can control the height of that flame as well and the intensity, so you can make it lower so you don't obviously burn whatever it is you're trying to do. And when you're done, simply switch it off, and that's it. Now, I don't store my canister together with my stove, and you simply unhook it from there. So in case of emergency, just make sure you get a whole bunch of these as spares, and then you're good to go. And when there is no emergency situation, these are great for making that hot cup of soup or that hot cup of coffee when you're doing your road trip out into the wilderness. What can you do to make sure you have power when there is a power outage? Well, a few years ago, Dallas was hit with this major snowstorm that left many people without electricity for a very prolonged period of time. For this, I suggest a power station like this one. This is the Blue Yeti EB55. It is small, it is lightweight at around 16.5 pounds and can easily be moved around to wherever you need it. It has a power output of 700 watts, which means it can run things like fans, lights, and charge your devices and power your internet so that you are staying connected. I mean, this guy has 13 outlets, 4 AC outlets, 1 USB-C, 4 USB-A ports, and wireless charging. Now, I like this over a gas generator, as you can easily run this inside your home without worrying about fumes. And obviously, you don't need gas to keep it running. You keep it charged from the normal outlet. It has the ability to charge via solar panel as well. The cool thing about this little guy is that you can throw it in the back of your car during your road trips. I have used it to charge my laptop and my drone and my camera batteries when I film for a long period of time and I don't have power. So this is super practical gadget to have, and when it's not an emergency situation, there are still many usages for it. Oh, one more thing on power. Of course, we know about power banks. They come in all shapes and sizes, and these are fantastic to charge your devices and can even run like small lights. Just remember that you need to keep them charged, so don't make the mistake of pulling them out when you need them, only to realize that there is no power left in them. All right, let's talk about transport. When we had that massive storm in Texas, trees and debris were all over the road, and in some area it took weeks to clear up. Whilst cars couldn't get through and were basically stuck, you could get through with an electric bike. I have the Explore bike from Hey Bike. It has a 70-mile range, which is around 112 kilometers, and it can reach a speed of 28 miles per hour, which is around 45 kilometers per hour. Yes, a regular bike will also work, so it doesn't have to be electric. But if you have to travel some distance and you plan on carrying supplies back, an electric option is much more practical. And when there's no emergency situation, having an electric bike is just fun. You can get out onto those bike trails and use it out to get that cup of coffee from your local shop without using your car. And another thing that everybody should actually have on their phones are these apps. Download the Fema app, which will show you any warnings in your area, as well as any safety tips and where the emergency shelters that are closest to you. Of course, this is in the US, so look up your government agency's app in your country. Next, download the First Aid app and the First Aid for Pets app if you have any. These apps are by the American Red Cross and will tell you what to do in case there's some emergency that requires first aid. Having these apps on your phone just makes good sense. You never know when you're going to need to refer to them. Look, I am not a hardcore prepper. It's just smart to be prepared. You know, the whole saying of rather have these items and not need them than need these items and not have them. Yeah, so I'd rather have them. Like, the one thing we do as a family is share our location with each other in case we get separated in an emergency. If you want to know how to track someone's location, check out this video right over here. Give the video a thumbs up before you head out, and I'll see you in this video. Keep safe and let's go.